You mentioned this idea of collaboration, right, between customer success, sales, and the leadership of the company overall. You coined a phrase in there in our previous conversation that you called the hygiene factor.
Yeah.
Can you explain what that is? Because I really liked what you were saying there.
Yeah, I can try. If it comes to customer loyalty or customer experience, you usually start to talk about the hygiene factor or motivational factors. And the hygiene factors is something that you cannot proactively manage as a company because it is something that customers expect when they pay your price. They buy your product and they expect you, for example, if something with the product does not work, that they can address someone to help you. This hygiene factor. So if they address an issue and you don't help them, customers are immediately dissatisfied. Cannot change that. And you don't make them happier if you help them. So you can just, it's a 0 or 1 situation. A motivational factor is, and you can read like tons of studies about that you do something that suddenly creates happiness where there was nothing before. No unhappiness, no dissatisfaction, just nothing. And you created happiness. And to give you an example, let's say a company bought a job ad with us and says, look, I want to hire someone. And this is why I use you as StepStone in promoting that position to find someone. And maybe the logo changed. And now they ask my team to change the logo. So if we do that, all fine. If we don't do it, nothing's fine. Customer is unhappy, right? There will be hygiene factor. The motivational factor would be, for example, every now and then we call the very same customer and say, look, apart from all the topics we tackled so far, everything that matters to you, how would you rate our partnership? And this open question leads to a talk that you have suddenly on eye level that is disconnected from operational use cases 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But that is like a talk about your partnership. And this suddenly creates happiness where there was nothing before. So this is how we tackle these two fields. And this is how we differentiate also in the teams we have.
What you're talking about, I love that idea, like creating happiness where there wasn't before. And you said you can't proactively plan for that, but isn't that what the contact center is trying to do with every interaction?
So I think we have to, like in the last years, we start to understood that there is differences in managing customers' happiness. So picking up the phone when a customer calls you or responding to an email that has been written does not influence customer happiness because that is just the expectation that you fulfill, right? So if someone buys a product for some dollars or for some $1,000, there is an expectation that comes with it. And it doesn't help if you just fulfill that expectation because maybe your competitor does the same. But what if you find ways of increasing happiness with some impulses that you can lead on a sales that the sales account or account manager or sales manager says, look, I just want to make sure like after 10, 20 days, whatever, that you're still happy with what you bought. Or that, for example, the service department, the contact centers understand this is my customer. I am responsible for managing the customer journey. And I proactively write or call or set up a meeting just to make sure, for example, onboarding went well, or just to make sure the usage of the product goes well and everything is fine as expected. Or maybe you can find something that customers haven't seen, something they were not aware of, some products that were missing, or maybe some features they didn't find yet. And you can make sure that the customer knows about this and knows how to use the product. I would say the last part is part of the contact centers where they can make a real difference. Also, when it comes to the level of people you have at the road to their own skills, but we're going to talk about that later. I know.
Okay. So my takeaway from that, which is great, is a contact center can just handle the requests coming in and try to meet that expectation. Or you can go above and beyond that and you can actually proactively try to engage with that customer and enhance that relationship and their experience and make them happier.
Absolutely, Steve. The only thing I would like to point out is you have to do the reactive things or the cases that are brought to you, right? You have to pick up the phone. You have to respond to emails. You have to be fast. Service level is one thing. Average response time is one thing. Average handling time for first response solution. Like all these things, they matter and they influence the hygiene factor, dissatisfied or 0. And then you can build on that. If you only do proactive impulses. You find things that customers might not have seen before. You try out new services. That only works if you have a great foundation. It's like you cannot build a roof without the rest of the house underneath. This is the picture I would paint here.